Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're here with the cute, cuddly Gobbos. Yes indeed, I'm actually fighting under the banner of the Bloody Hands though, so let's go ahead and pause and talk about mind games for just a second here. So, one of you had asked me in the comments about sub-factions. Generally, sub-factions don't have anything special. Some of them have unique units from other factions, such as Averlorn or followers of Nagash, but for the most part they just have a different color scheme and a more limited lord selection, but you can kind of use it to play mind games with your opponent. So Bloody Hands, for example, is the Savage Orc clan that Wurzag leads. Wurzag is the only legendary lord available to them, but they do have the full complement of the rest of the Greenskin roster in terms of generic lords and units. So what I like to do occasionally, I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I like to take the Bloody Hands here. So it looks like I'm going to play Savage Orcs, but then take a Gobbo list, full-on Gobbo list, and that's what I've done here. So let's go ahead and talk about the army composition. I'm fighting the Wood Elves, and I do think that the full Gobbo army can be pretty decent against the Wood Elves just because it gives you so many bodies to throw at your opponent. We've got the Gobbo War Boss here on foot, and the nice thing about him is he has a really solid missile block chance of 55%. And more than that, he also has this Spite of the Bad Moon, which gives 48 additional missile parry and expert charge defense, both of which are very useful in this matchup. So you can essentially get him over 100% missile block chance. I don't know with missile block chance if there's the same diminishing returns as with, like, say, armor and melee defense. I would imagine there would be, that you maybe cap out at like a 90-95% missile block chance, but still, you can get that high with this Spite of the Bad Moon. What's more, Gobbos typically have, it's worth noting also, he has the Tormentor Sword, which is just an excellent item. It's worth noting also that most Gobbos actually do have silver shields, because they're these little guys. Even though they have little shields, it's not hard for them to hide behind. 55% missile block chance on these guys as well, and I believe these standard Gobbos, the not Knight Gobbos, also have the same. So again, very good against the Wood Elves to be able to block a lot of that missile fire. So we've got 4 Gobbos up front, backed up by 3 Knight Gobbos. 2 of them are Regiments of Renown, but all of them have been ranked up to rank 9, because at rank 9 they actually become pretty scary melee combatants. You can see 25 attack and 36 defense with 120 unit models is pretty solid for regular Gobbos, and the Knight Gobbos, of course, 32 and 34 with 120 unit models and poison. So they're basically like State Troop Swordsmen with poison and more unit models, so pretty decent actually if you chevron them up. And we've got 3 Doom Divers in addition, and 2 Goblin Wolf Chariots. One of them is the T-Frabas, again going to be good against light infantry of the Wood Elves. We've also got plenty of Spider Riders, 4 Spider Riders with varying levels of chevronage as well. And we also have the Death's Creepers, who are currently getting mowed down by Deepwood Scouts. And I think that's pretty much it for my build. I've got a Gobbo Shaman here as well, who's got Gorkle Fix-It, Itchy Nuisance, and Sneaky Stabbin'. We've currently laid down this Gorkle Fix-It on these Wild Riders, who are Vanguard deployed back behind me. There are 3 of them that we're going to try and deal with right off the bat. Obviously, they're coming in here very aggressively to try and get on my Doom Divers. We don't want any part of that, so we're going to get the boys to respond in kind. In terms of the rest of the Wood Elf army here, he's got a Glady upon an Eagle, 3 Deepwood Scouts who are, again, currently mowing down my Death's Creepers. Let's see, 3 Dryads with a Branch Wraith, not bad picks, Winterheart Guard, and Loex Tricksters, the 2 Regiment of Renown. The one's a War Dancer with Azrai Spear, one's Eternal Guards, but, you know, armor-piercing, anti-large, same idea here. That's pretty much it for the Wood Elves, so let's get the battle rolling. And you can see already madness in the back line as these Wild Riders attempt to pull away, but between the poison and the Gorkle Fix-It, they actually have 2 speed debuffs that will affect them pretty severely. This other Doom Diver is also completely safe here over on the far side, and this is why you take 3 and spread them out, because even if your opponent compromises one, the others can turn and fire. We did manage to save this Doom Diver crew, although one of them did get routed off. They'll probably come back, you know, they're Gobbos, but I figure we're chasing these Wild Riders. There's a significant investment, about 3,300 resources, give or take, so I'm going to go ahead and pop the WA, and you can see with the WA active, I just want to highlight here, these Spider Riders are up to 51 melee attack 37 melee defense. They have extra charge bonus and speed as well, so they're just going to get in here and munch on these Wild Riders. And Wild Riders typically you would think would just crap all over the Spider Riders, but with the buffs here and with the chevrons and everything, it's definitely going to turn against the Wild Riders here. You can see we were able to chase off the one unit straight off the back. These other two units have been made more or less combat ineffective for the most part, and my opponent's having to push forward here very aggressively. We've got the Doom Divers. I thought they were firing. Looks like they've actually got a move order instead, but now it looks like they're going to be shooting in at those Deepwood Scouts. Big old blob of Deepwood Scouts here, just asking to get Doom Divered. So the Glady's pushing forward here. We've also got the Dryads pushing forward. Again, just because we're able to pressure my opponent so aggressively with all of this artillery and everything, it's going to kind of force him into an unfavorable situation. But yeah, those Doom Divers also making some solid contact with the Winterheart Guard here as well. This big old blob, like I said, just asking for it. But the Glady comes down to try and shut down this Doom Diver catapult, but this is a huge mistake because there are Spider Riders still all over the place, and the Spider Riders have the mass and the poison to be able to bog the lady down and really keep her from getting away. Looks like a Penumbral Pendulum coming down from that branch right there, and Fanatics being unleashed as the Lorix Tricksters charge through here. They'll obviously do quite well against the Spider Riders, so I'm going to pull away and just allow them to fight the A-Peak Loonies and these Goblins as well. They'll definitely, they're not going to trade as well against those Horde-style infantry units. Meanwhile, the Spider Riders pushing through, trying to get in and compromise these Deepwood Scouts here, but my opponent is going to pull these Winterheart Guard to protect. That being said, the Glady being caught up here is just backbreaking for my opponent. Wild Riders that came back from route, we're still trying to deal with out on the periphery here. We use a Tormentor Sword to freeze these Dryads in place so that we could get my Night Gobbo Warboss free and then swarm them with Gobbos. Yeah. At this point, things are going reasonably well. The bounce power is actually slightly in my opponent's favor, though. I'm not sure exactly why, but we've been able to deal with the Wild Riders. His Glady, again, taking lots of damage here. We put Sneaky Stabbing on those A-Peak Loonies so they could do a bit of extra damage there. Unfortunately, one of my Spider Riders does get caught by the Prey of Anathrema, but again, we just have so many bodies here, and the Doom Divers are continuing to fire away at the Winterheart Guard. We've got two crews. This other crew here did get routed off, but they came back. We just got them chilling in the back line here, kind of waiting for an opportunity to go back and reman their artillery pieces. But yeah, these Deepwood Scouts, I love Doom Divers. I don't get to use them super often because I don't think they're wildly effective, but against an elite low armor faction, like a low model count, low armor faction like the Wood Elves, I actually think that the Doom Divers can be a pretty decent pick, especially if you bring them in lots of numbers. But yeah, you can see the Winterheart Guard, although they are unbreakable, they're getting dragged down by just hordes and hordes of Gobbos, and just that's kind of the tale of the tape all across the line here. There's just so many Gobbos. We've got the Wolf Chariots mixing it up here with the Dryads. They're kind of chasing away some other units there. Lorix Tricksters, they'll definitely do well. I mean, obviously, they're an elite infantry unit. They'll beat Gobbos, but it's just not going to be cost effective. And you can see the Glady is still not back up in the air. She's been trying to get away, but just these Spider Riders and everything else just not allowing her to get away. Looks like she's finally almost about to pull out here, but we actually path one of the Spider Riders past her and then issue an attack order again so that they kind of swarm and get another surround here. But she is going to be able to get back up in the air. The Branch Wraith kind of distracting some of my unit models there, but at this point we've been able to break up enough of the Wood Elf army that the bounce power is starting to turn in my favor. Deepwood Scouts getting ridden down by Spider Riders actually routing? I'm not sure anyway, but yeah, the Winterheart Guard are just about finished off. We've got the Tiefrabas pulling through as well. Granted, the Glady did just get back up into the air just now, or at least escape. But yeah, the Night Gobbo Warboss helping to finish off those Lorix Tricksters. We're going to get a nice rear charge here by the Spider Riders. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Gotta say, I love these all Gobbo lists, and this Night Gobbo Warboss certainly seems to appreciate it as well. Unfortunately, the Chariots did get caught by a Prey of Anathrema. They're probably going to get mowed down by the Deepwood Scouts here. The Glady, though, again, coming down to the ground, despite the fact that there's Gobbo infantry on station. I mean, granted, she can pull away a little bit easier here, but it's just not going to be effective for her to sit and take it with all of these Gobbos that are able to get a huge surround and just get a ton of attacks on her. And I mean, Glady only has, what, 40 melee defense, so even the, like the 25 attack and the 32 attack of these various Gobbo units, we'll still be able to do quite a bit of damage to her, so not the most effective trade there, but at this point, Branch Wraith is just about to rout. The Glady's taking damage and not too happy about her life decisions at this point. And it looks like it's going to be victory for the Gobbo Horde. Yes, indeed. Super fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. This is a matchup that traditionally most people think is not great for the Greenskins, but I would like to put forward that I think that if you go full-on Gobbos and just overwhelm your opponent with huge amounts of numbers, and especially ranked up Gobbos with that WA effect up, they'll just trade way above their cost. It's really, really good, at least against low armor factions, that is. Even if you do face armored factions, though, you could fine-tune this a little bit differently, where you take, you know, nasty skulkers instead. Maybe you cheap out and go with the rock lobbers instead of doom divers. You know, you could definitely change it up to be a more armor-piercing focused list. But as it is against the Wood Elves, I like the build quite a bit. I have to use it a bit more and see, you know, against some different Wood Elf builds how it does. You could potentially have some big problems with tree units, although tree units are not super common against the Greenskins. I could see someone bringing like Durthu or an Ancient Tree Man, which this list would have some problems with. You could get around that by bringing, you know, Rusty Airs, maybe some more missile units. Again, Nasty Skulkers can be quite good, although they're pretty risky because they don't have a missile block chance whatsoever. So they have the capacity to get shot up at least pretty bad by the Wood Elves there. But still, I do think though that the all Gobbo thing definitely has merit against more traditional Wood Elf armies. You saw I was able to shut down the Wild Riders. They just really traded inefficiently there with the Spider Riders. Again, most of the chevrons here were dished out before the fight. I don't think anyone actually picked up chevrons through the fight, but 42 kills, 41 against you know, Wood Elves as Gobbos. That's not too bad. 43, 28, 84 on the Warlords, boys. That's super solid. I think they were fighting Dryads, which is actually a really good fight for them because they've got the armor sundering and the combat stats to be able to take that. Yeah, overall, super fun list for my opponent here. His Dryads did okay in certain pockets. Loix Tricksters got 110 kills, but those Winterheart guards were really inefficient, and he was way over-aggressive with his Glady. I mean, I could understand if he had like a dragon that has more mass and also has terror, but the Eagle has pretty low mass, doesn't have terror, and you can definitely get caught up by things like Spider Riders. Granted, maybe my opponent didn't see the Spider Riders were on station and expected to be able to get back up in the air much quicker. I do understand wanting to shut down the Doom Divers because they will do a lot of damage to your infantry as the Wood Elves. But, yeah, I mean, after he had lost out his mobility engagement with the Wild Riders, it was going to be tough for him to shut them down anyway. Probably should have just pushed forward more with the Deepwood Scouts and tried to even just, like, shoot out the artillery crews. That can work out pretty well sometimes, but still a very close battle, fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.